Ready to make a real impact every day? Join the Active Day Home Care team and help clients maintain their independence in the comfort of their own homes. Make a difference in someone's life as you provide essential daily assistance and protect their health and happiness. Earn up to $20 an hour and enjoy additional perks like optional daily pay, 401k, paid time off, ongoing educational training, and more. Join a team that values care, compassion, and your professional growth. Visit activeday.com to apply.
Stop right there. Yeah, you. If you like all things entertainment, current events, or Hollywood, then look no further. Creator to Creators, hosted by director Meosha of Horror Noir, interviews filmmakers and creatives from around the world. Join in on the fun, guest celebrities, and informative information to have as a creator. Hit subscribe and stay connected to Creator to Creators.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Creators to Creators today. Today, we have a special guest,
NIKKA.
Welcome. Thank you for coming on. I'm very excited to chat with you. I love always asking every guest, like going to the beginning, like your childhood. Let tell me a little bit about your childhood and what was that like, and how did you kind of find your way into music?
Great question. So I moved over to the States in 2001. So I was around 5 years old when that happened. I was born in Eastern Europe. We came over after there was a war in Eastern Europe and after the bombing of the city that we were in and some other cities. The way that my mom describes it to me is that we won this green card lotto. And then when we got our green cards, we were able to come over here. So when I came over, I spent the majority of my life in the Tampa Bay area. And then recently I relocated for work and now I'm in Kansas City, which is super fun. Childhood wise, I've always loved singing. I don't know if I can remember when it exactly started, but I loved listening to music. I credit music as to why I was able to pick up the English language so quickly, just because you'd always hear it on the radio and then you'd start singing it. So paired with the fact that you're learning some of these words, you're actually like practicing the enunciation in a way that's fun and not just like, talking to Duolingo, which we didn't have back then. I was always a shy kid and I always wanted to pick up instruments, but I think like a lot of people, it's very frustrating when you hear all these things in your head and then you get on the guitar and you're like, bing, bing. It's like, that's not what I'm trying to do. So I would always sing. Sometimes I would go to like karaoke shows, but again, super shy kid. So I'd be like, oh, people. And then I'd kind of just given up on the idea of doing anything with it just because I was like, well, I'm just going to take the appropriate path of going to school, figuring out what I want to do in a career, and then just doing that. But when the pandemic happened, I was working remotely and I'd always come up with melodies all the time. But I think when you're in an office or like around people, you're just like, ding, ding, ding. Okay, that's it. All right, keep walking. But being stuck alone for hours on hours a day, I would just start singing. And I'm like, well, I keep singing the same thing. This is fun. I like this. I feel like this is actually a potentially good song. So I started saving them in my voice recordings on my phone. And then throughout the day, if I came up with like lyric ideas, I would put those into my notes. And from there, for about 2 years, I kept doing that. And then back to I play no instruments. Well, I do play some power chords on the guitar, but that's very, very minimalistic.
Very
so
cool.
I'm like, I don't play instruments. How do I do this? And then I found out that producers can make your music come to life if you work with them. So I worked with a friend for a little bit, but our issue was that he was in New York, I was in Florida. So it was very hard for us to get time where we could actually record.
Yeah.
So when I moved to Kansas City, I was like, well, maybe there's someone here. So I Googled producers in Kansas City, kind of sat on the results for a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm like, I don't know. How do you pick a producer?
That's
Typically,
true.
You know someone or someone recommends someone to you. And
yeah,
in the past, I had someone recommend a producer that we just didn't click artistically. So it didn't go anywhere. But I finally just texted the studio that I go to, and then the producer that I now work with responded and was like, "I'll meet you at noon on Saturday." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So I show up, and it's funny the way that the studio is really nice, but it's like down this set of stairs in a parking lot, and it's an unmarked door that you go to.
Interesting.
So the joke with my friends when I got there and I was alone, and I'm like, I may be getting kidnapped today. We'll see. But the producer that I texted, he came and let me in. And I was like, oh, this is a really nice studio. I'm not gonna get
Nice.
cool. And we had a conversation. He played me some of the songs that he'd produced for other people. And immediately I liked his style and his
Nice.
musicality. So I was like, so how much are you? When can we start working together? And he was like, well, do you want to take this information back and think about it? And I'm very impulsive. So I was like, no, you and I are working together. And it's been a really great musical relationship since.
I love that. I love that. What's your sign, if I may ask?
Sagittarius.
Aha, fire. Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. My
The
best friend's a
impulsivity.
Sag. Yeah, I love it. I love it. But you guys get things done because that's what that's what it takes in this business. I mean, the fearlessness, like going after like you're just gonna go for it and it works and like it just somehow works out. I love that. I love that. Love that for sure. So you get to the studio, everything's great. Like, was it I guess your first, like when you first did it, like your first experience, do you remember like what that feeling felt like of like being in the studio, that process of like just creating? Was it like, okay, I'm home? Like for me, myself, when I first stepped on a studio lot, I'll never forget the feeling. It was like, okay, this is what I meant. This is home. Like this is what I'm meant to be or to do.
Yeah, exactly that. Like anytime I go to the studio, I'm like, this is my safe zone. I love being here. I could have had a bad week and I'm just so excited to be here. The one funny thing about it though is now that we've worked together on like 6 songs and I love all of them, I'm just like, do your thing. You're great. And then like I'll listen to stuff and I'll be like, okay. But he's really good at what he does. And I don't question him throughout his process because it'll shift. But
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
the first song that we worked on together, I'm very particular about drums.
Okay.
And that's just I joke that I'm a pain in the butt, and probably not, but I always joke that to him. And like if it's like he picks a certain like vocal take or something, I'm just like, okay, just try to process. Don't intercede until he at least gets through this part.
Absolutely, absolutely. But like, I mean, it does take that, like, there's artists that you see, I don't know, that they just kind of work together, the producer and the artist. Like I think it goes hand in hand. Like if it's a great partnership, you're gonna make great music. Like I remember, was it Justin Timberlake and Timberland? They are a thing. Like your Pharrells, and I think it's a Beyonce or whatever. Like you could see the same people that people work with, even if they get a certain, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, it's really cool to see that. So you found your person, like your Martin Scorsese to your Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, yeah, we work really well together, so it's super awesome. And sometimes I come in and I have like a full idea of what I want. Like there's one song that I really want to work on. I'm just trying to get in touch with him to figure out when we're going to schedule it.
Yeah.
Um, and it would be the next single that I would release, hopefully.
Hey.
I say hopefully because I told him I'd let him pick between 3 songs, but I already know which song I want to do. So I'm like, I joked with him. I was like, there's a right choice of those 3, but I'm still going to keep my promise and let you pick between
You
3.
can pick it, but pick the right one. Love that.
but
Yeah.
so I really want to work on that one. And like I have an idea. I've fleshed out pretty much all the lyrics. I know exactly how I want to do stuff. I know the last thing that I want to end. I know that
Yeah.
I want it to like which songs I want it to emulate because it's more of an alternative song.
Nice.
And there's like parts where I'm like, okay, for this first line of the chorus, I don't want any music. Like I just want the echo of the voice and then everything hits. And then
Yeah.
and sometimes I'll go to him and it's really funny, I'm sure, for someone that's like as musically talented as he is. I'm just like, I just hear this noise and or like this part of the guitar that's like, and I'm like, do with that what you will.
I love that. I think it's great. You know what you want, and I think That's a great, that's what a great artist. And I think that's what I've noticed, like with people that I've talked to about music. Like when you just know what your sound and your style, it's easy to like just create. Was that something to like for you at individually? Like, did you kind of know when you first when you started making music, like what you wanted to sound like?
Great question. I don't know if I knew. So for me, a lot of the songs that I hear in my head, or especially early on, were very singer-songwritery. So just like
Yeah.
acoustic, like the song "Would You Like to Dance" on the EP.
Yeah.
In my head, I heard it as like kind of like a sweet acoustic song. And it's funny because this is where like his collaboration is so important. I'll come in and I'll be like, I kind of have an idea for what I want to do for this. I hear this. I don't think it would be the best way to represent the song.
Hmm.
For that one, it's a joke. I always joke I'm a very dark person, probably from like being exposed to war and stuff at a young age. But
I see.
I'm like, oh, I don't write a lot of happy songs, and this one's actually happy.
Hmm.
So I need you to make it happy. And he's like, we're gonna make it happy, god damn it. So
I love that. I,
yeah, there's an element of just letting some things happen, but there's some songs like Showed Up Drunk. I was like, I know where I want like a certain type of riff to be. I know that I want it to be pop punk and no one's changing my mind. But then other songs, I'll be like, oh, I kind of like that. Okay, we can go that direction.
hmm I think it's beautiful. And now that you just mentioned that, I showed up drunk. Like I thought it was great. I love your style. It's very have you heard, like, I don't know if you get this, but I can hear a lot of different sounds, but I loved Avril Lavigne growing up. Like
I do
that was like, but I really like that I love the song I Should Have Drunk. So talk to us a little bit like about the process of making that, why that title, like what was behind the making of this? Like I'm curious.
Oh yeah. So it's a funny story because the first thing that people ask is, did you actually show up at an ex's house drunk? And I'm like, no. I wish that would be a cooler story. I'd be like, so I got plastered and then I Ubered to his door and I was like, sir, but that's not how it went. So it's so anticlimactic.
Oh
It was
man.
actually like something ended with a person that I'd been seeing. And I was like, whatever, don't care about him. It's all good. But we just sometimes you say that, but then you're kind
Yeah.
of hoping that somehow you'll like reach out to each other or at least just have a little bit more contact than you do.
Yeah.
That was clean. He could not give a crap about me afterwards. So
Aw.
it got under my skin. And I mean, I
Yeah.
scared for him, but I was just like, whatever, you don't want to be with me, bye. And he lived in a really like central part of town, which really annoyed me because anytime I would go to downtown or stuff, that is where the GPS would take me. And he lived right off the street. So whenever I would go by, I'd be like, don't look, don't look. You don't want to see his truck. You don't want to see his lights on because if you see it, you'll be annoyed.
Absolutely.
So one day I did look, and then I did like a loop around because his lights were on. And I'm like, ah. So I got mad. And then I kind of do a loop around and I do it again. And I'm like, his lights are on. He's just living his life and he couldn't give two shits about me. So that's great.
Aw. I'm sorry
um,
that it ended like that. It ended that way. I'm sorry.
it's totally good. I just at this point I'm like, you just have to laugh about it.
Yeah, definitely. And you
But
made some great music out of it. So hey.
yeah, tried to. But it's funny because that I just came up with like the I should have drunk part. I came up with the bridge and the hook first.
Okay.
And then just over the next 2 years, because I think I came up with it in I can't remember if it was 2020 or 2021.
Oh.
It I think the first verse came to me like maybe a year later. And then I had so many ideas for what I wanted the second verse to be, but I always call it my second verse curse. I have so many songs that I cannot like nail down a second verse to. Like I have so
Ah.
many iterations. And I actually sat down with a friend back in Tampa Forest and he helped me come up with some pop chords to it. And then I was like, hey, do you want to kind of just like help me out into figuring out how to put some of this stuff together? And he came up with a few lines that helped me like piece everything together perfectly. And I was like, we got a song.
No, it's a great song. It's it's different. It's like, obviously it's not like, it's one of those things. Like I was reading some of the lyrics. I was like, wow, that's real. Like,
When you say that, which lyrics did really?
it's like, come, you said you showed up and you're one, hopefully he's gonna come to the door, and like, you definitely that, like, that definitely, I mean, I've never had, I've had it where I had to like end something, but it was like, okay, this is actually, it's best that I ended here because it's not safe to go back. So
Yeah.
when you close a door, like, okay, I gotta keep that closed. It was like a really scary situation. So it was the other way. He was the one that was the following, and I'm like, oh no. Like, so but yeah, I mean, I think relationships are, they're very interesting. I think you learn a lot from them, even if they end horribly or something bad happens. Like, what you want next time you jump into another situation. So
For
this is a
sure.
lesson for all of us, men and women out there.
Yeah. And congrats on being able to successfully end that, because that's never an easy thing to do.
No, it definitely wasn't. And he is also was in the industry, so I do know a few of his people. So it's like, oh God, I just hope that we don't run in, again, across paths. So, I love asking this question to every guest, and there is no wrong answer. But if you could choose only one, loyalty or respect, and which one would you choose and why?
And respect. I feel like I would go with loyalty. And
Okay, I like
I
that.
think I think it's because for me, I have a lot of trust issues just throughout my life. So
Mhm.
for me, loyalty means so much.
Yeah,
And as great as it would be to be respected for your craft, you as a person, I think it's those personal, like close relationships that you have that are the most important thing. So if
yeah,
you know that you have people that are loyal and that you can count on, I feel like life just feels way more fulfilling.
yeah,
Whereas I think I've just I've been fortunate to have quite a few things go right for me in terms of careers and achievements. And, I feel like I've earned a lot of people's respect, but respect is just it's a thing. For me, it's the people in my life that care about me and are loyal to me that means more than having some notoriety for the things that I do.
yeah. That's I like it's a great answer. Usually people say respect. So, but I like that, like your viewpoint of loyalty, actually. That's really, really good. Yeah, I like that. I think I might change my answer. I like that. That's good. It's really good. Um and how do you deal with breakup?
So I think that I can be very scorched earth, and that's something that I probably shouldn't be. But in the sense that, when someone hurts me, I don't like them to know that they've hurt me. So I'm
Hmm.
just like, cut the cord. I'll never talk to you. Like with Showed Up Drunk. It's like, I may have looked and I'm like, God dang him. And then I did a loop around and I'm like, he's so lucky I don't show up drunk because I wouldn't. And then I just keep driving. So that's kind of a good way of expressing it. Like I try to channel it in music. I'm a little bit of a a little bit of a workaholic. I'm very much a workaholic. So if I'm depressed and like after a breakup, somehow my boss is going to be like, "Did you just work 60 hours last week?" No, no, not at all. Can't do
It
that.
helps, right? Like
Yeah,
drain, like, yeah.
yeah, because it helps the time pass by, and otherwise, like I feel like if I leave myself alone and it's probably bad. I don't like to be alone with my thoughts because,
Mm.
especially in a vulnerable place like that, I'll just start crying, and I'm like, God,
Oh.
I'm gonna go do something else. I'll show him.
You
Not that he
know, it's so, I'm laughing because I have, so I'm an Aries. So we hate to show we just, like, we want to make sure that we're doing great in life. It's like, life is good. I'm smiling on the gram photos. I'm just like, behind it though, I'm so miserable. But I'm like, I'm never going to show you that I am like feeling a certain way or sad, or no, never. But my therapist, now that I have therapy, I take therapy. I it's very good to, I feel like, for me, to have better coping mechanisms, because it's not the healthiest approach for sure. So hey, I'm learning too.
Funny. Yeah, funny that you say that. I'm actually an Aries moon, so I think maybe that's where I'm like,
There we
ah.
go. There we go. There we go.
And I know, like I'll talk to my therapist too. I love mine. I've been seeing her for 2 years,
That's
and
great.
I'll be like, I'm not mad. I'm okay. I hate him, and she's like, all these feelings are valid. Just feel them, and I'm like, okay, I'm sad, and then I start crying, and I'm like, I've been repressing a lot of stuff lately.
That's good. And it shows up in your music. And I think you're so talented, like very, very great sound. You're super talented, like, and I love that you're being vulnerable and being honest and, putting stuff out that, for the world to use, because it's a real relatable thing. I think we need music like this. So thank you. I love asking this question too. If you could be managed by any artist, living or dead, who would you choose and why? It's kind of
like
hard, huh? It's
I have a
hard.
gut reaction of who, but I'm
Oh.
thinking there'd be someone else. Okay, it'd be Taylor Swift. That was my gut reaction.
I swear, I kid you not, I literally said in my head, Taylor.
She's
She's
so
great.
like talented, but I think the thing about her that makes everybody go is that woman's work ethic. It's just like I went to her Tampa concert back in, I think it was
Nice.
April. She was at the studio in New York like 3 hours before she was supposed to be here, and I'm like,
Wow.
I just,
Wow.
whatever she would say, I'd be like, yes, ma'am. I will do whatever you say. Oh.
Yeah, because it shows. Yeah, it's like, and then her career has been, going on for what, she's only 20 something, or she's 30. I'm not sure.
I think 33. She was born in
Wow.
89.
Wow. She's been doing this for a while. And I think that just shows the longevity that she has in this business. And my question to you is this, as an artist, do you feel like this music industry is kind of like hard to, because it's so saturated, right? Music is
Yeah.
like, there's like a new artist like every day. There's new songs, hits, and everything's different now. Is it hard to get your stuff out there more, like as far as like on the mainstream, and you're competing against like a Taylor Swift on those same charts? I see, how do you do it? Like,
We're figuring it out. It's I think it is difficult because there's so many people that release music.
yeah.
Um and I think that different genres, different niches, different songwriting styles. I think the people that are pivotal from the beginning of their song to the end of their song are a little bit rarer. So it kind of goes down the funnel of what might make it mainstream wise. But
Mhm.
breaking out is it's so by chance. Like you have to right opportunity, right place, right time.
Mhm.
And I think it's difficult because for me, I'm not signed to anyone. I'm just doing this all by myself. And
Wow.
where I've done, I'm like, oh God, I really want to label because it's just so much nicer when someone has the connections, like you have the support to do the
Yeah.
things that you need to do, and then the marketing power, because the marketing is not cheap. So,
Oh no.
yeah, I think it really takes just the right opportunity, right time, the right kind of music that's going to stick with a lot of people. And
Yeah.
I also even think when it comes to a label, finding a label that is willing to invest a lot in you, because I think a lot
Mhm.
of labels that have many artists don't necessarily give them as much attention.
Mhm.
But with Taylor Swift, she was one of the first people, or if not the first person, signed to her label. So they were very invested. So pair that with her wonderful ethic and talent, and then a label that actually supported it. When you have
Yeah.
that relationship, you're able to skyrocket.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think you're right. It is, and wow, and kudos to you for like it being in like, I guess, independent artists, right? And putting your work out there like that, because I can't tell, from outside looking in, it looks like you have a team. You know what I mean? And that, I think that shows your work ethic, and like you said, it's getting connected to someone that sees your vision and wants to push as well. You're going to be an unstoppable force for sure, definitely. Yeah, independent. I definitely I could have went mainstream many times as far as like as a filmmaker, but there's something about, for me, going staying independent and having like ownership of my stuff versus giving it to someone. I mean, there's we can go back to Blair Witch was an independent filmmakers, and they made it for I think $1,000, and then they made like millions of dollars in box office. And it's I don't know. I think it just depends on what you want. And I do like it though that hey, getting signed is great too. I do think there's a plus for both.
Oh yeah, for sure. It is. It's just insane all the different ways that people can become successful.
Yeah.
And it's a choose your own path. Like you don't have to be like anybody else. It's just if you truly believe and keep pushing. And if you're motivated by your work and by your passion, it can
Yeah.
really take you places.
1000%. I was going to ask you, what keeps you, going in this music industry? And like, when there's tough times, like what keeps you going?
Ugh, good question, especially since I'm new. It's funny because I had a little funk earlier this week. I'm just like, oh, what am I doing? Why am
Oh,
I doing this? This is so much work.
yeah.
And I think it's really just like the kind words from the people that I know. Like around that time when I was having a funk, one of my friends sent me a video of them like singing it in the car, and they're like, "Your music's awesome." I'm
Oh,
like,
I love
okay, so you
that.
genuinely like it. Thank you
Yeah.
for validating it because you can tell when I'm mad. Like my face speaks for itself, and I feel like a
Mhm.
lot of people's faces do. So the fact that when I play things for people, you can tell they genuinely like it, and it's not just like a good job.
Right.
I
Yeah.
think that's what keeps me going.
I love that. That definitely is motivating to see someone like rocking out to your music that you made. It's like, okay, that's cool. Have you performed your songs yet at all? Have you gone and
I performed Fatal Dance once before it was out. I think my big thing is my voice it's twofold. One, in addition to not playing instruments, I tend to have issues with my voice all the time.
Mhm.
But I went to an ENT and they're like, your vocal cords are fine. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I don't know what's going on with it. So I'll lose my voice a lot. And then I get like nervous about performing because like
Um,
if I schedule something and then that day I can't hit notes, it's not gonna be good.
yeah.
And the other thing is when I am out, like I can't really hear myself because I have a lighter voice in many aspects. So I've been trying to find a good in-ear monitor piece. And from there, I think once I figure that out, just like once I figured the producer out, like,
Yeah.
all right, we'll just go for it and we'll start
Yeah.
figuring out kind of what works and get some more experience.
That's awesome. No, that's really, really cool. I mean, I can't imagine being an artist. Like, you are your brand, it's like, it's like that, this is me, it's like putting yourself out there for the world to, it's such a, I guess it's a great rewarding industry, but it's also one of the most judgmental industries ever. It's like, here you go, everyone, have at it, like rip it to shreds or whatever you want to do with it. But I just can't imagine. So great, great
Yeah.
for you. But you have to have the personality, and I think that you do for sure, 1000%.
Oh, thank you. I
One,
I always joke. I'm like, I'm so mean to myself. I'm like, what are you gonna say that I haven't said to myself already? And then if someone actually is creative enough to say something I haven't said, I'm like, oof, I'm gonna write that down on a sticky note, put it on the mirror, and like desensitize to it every morning.
oh, I love it. That's so funny. Oh man. What advice would you give to somebody that wants to, I don't know, give this music stuff a try? What would you say?
I think it depends on where they're at. So if they're where I was a year ago, where they don't necessarily know how to bring it to life, the best thing you can do is just start trying out different collaborators and people to work with to help make the sound that you like. And I think if they get to the point where they've started releasing it, I've heard can't can't say I've taken this advice yet. I'm working on it. But social media is a great way to get things out there. I am working on it. I literally I've been looking, I'm like, social media managers, please someone help me.
It's a
Social
lot.
media is a great way to get out there. And I think other things too, like just figuring out when someone else is successful and seeing if you can be a part of it. So people that have great podcasts like yourself, or
Oh,
radio
thank you.
stations and other things, just seeing if you can have an opportunity to chat with them, and who knows who you may meet.
I love that. Yeah, absolutely. Put yourself out there. I like that.
Yeah.
Definitely. I will say that's one thing that helped me. I'm such a I just I'm super like you said earlier, like you just do it. It's like you go for it. And I think it just doors will open. I mean, I remember like I got a call and it was the most random call, but it was one of the best highlights of my career. Like it got me out there. She was a producer and she's like, "Hey, how do you feel about, talking about, a horror film on camera at a movie theater?" And I'm like, yeah, sure, sign me up.
Yeah.
A couple months later, I get a call. I go down to the place. They send me the address. I don't know what I'm getting myself into, but I'm like, sure. Next thing you know, I'm working with Jordan Peele and, all the greats. And I'm just like, there's no way this is happening. Like, like what? Am I being punked right now? Like, this is crazy. But it is that. It's just opening. It's just saying yes, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. It's all about just being open to whatever opportunity. I feel like I've done that in my normal professional life,
That's
like just being
awesome.
like, yeah, I'll do this. I'll do the thing that I'm not supposed to do. But you get high visibility to people who may be able to promote me, and then that's worked out. So it's kind of the same thing with music. Like,
Yeah.
just say yes. Like if someone's extending you an opportunity, that's an amazing thing. And you're like, I will take it. Thank you for your time.
I love it. I love it. Anything that you're working on coming up that you'd like to announce? Anything that
I wish I had some dates like scheduled in the studio. I really want to release a single in December
all
because
right.
being a Sagittarius, it's my birthday.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I really want to release that single that I've been working on. But other than that, I think it really just depends on what's going to happen. I've been talking to friends about just doing like a TikTok-esque video of Showed Up Drunk because, again, need to get
Yeah.
some content on TikTok. But maybe that, maybe 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 a remix. So fun fact, the
Ooh.
saddest song on my album is Why'd You Have to Break Me. Another fun fact, it's also the fastest song I ever wrote. Very much knew what I wanted to say there. But I made it a stripped down piano ballad with my producer. And I told him it lives two ways in my head: the sad piano ballad and like an EDM track. So I'm over
Ooh.
here wondering, I need to find someone who would be interested in remixing it because I would love to turn that, like, sad, why'd you have to break me, into a
Yeah.
why'd you have to break me.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, that's gonna be cool.
So
That's
that
gonna
would
be
be cool.
awesome. Yeah, that's
Know anyone?
yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I could definitely send them your way. Oh yeah. Yes, actually. I'll definitely. You're on Instagram, right? Instagram?
I can. Mhm.
Okay. I'll find you. I'll find you on Instagram. And then I'll
Awesome.
like kind of connect you guys together that way. So
Perfect. Thank you.
yay. Thank you so much for coming. It was very lovely to chat with you. And like the time is literally already over. I'm like, what just happened? We just
Oh my
started.
God. Yes.
I love it. It just flies by. It really, it really does. But you got to definitely come back when you have something else or anytime, you're welcome back to come on anytime. It was lovely. Lovely.
Likewise. Yeah, we'll definitely have to keep in touch. I will let you know about all the things that I do.
Yay. I'm excited. I'm excited. Well, thank you so much for guys for listening, and always remember to live, love, laugh. We'll see you guys next time. Oh, by the way, really quick, so sorry. Where can people find you on social media? I did not
Yeah.
forgot that.
My very work in progress Instagram, but I'm on there and you can reach me, is at NIKKA_music. I found out today there is an @_NIKKA music who's a belly dancer. That is not me. I'm like, I wish I was that cool, but very, very similar. um, so find me there. I'm also working on TikTok, but don't really have anything song related on there yet. It's at Nika Teeny, like a
Okay.
martini. I
Ah,
really want to
okay.
come up with like a martini recipe
Oh,
for me.
that sounds great. That sounds great. Well, thank you so much again. I appreciate your time.
Likewise. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. All right, guys, have a great day. See you next time.